So I just started in a keeper league, and it is a 5-player keeper. And someone offered me Josh Jacobs for my first round pick. And otherwise, my 5th keeper is Hopkins. Would you do the deal or counter? I would not do that deal. Josh Jacobs, I liked it at first when he signed with Green Bay, and then a little bit after. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know what you're going to get there. Anthony talked about chasing big years. Are we chasing that big year when Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing? Is he going to lead the league in rushing with Green Bay? I don't think so. I mean, I could pull up the rushing attempt share,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was as wide as it was for Jacobs with the Raiders. So I wouldn't do the deal.
So,
Anthony?
I was never really in love with this move. LaFleur, for one, and I've said this a lot this offseason, since Jacobs has been there, he's had Aaron Jones for the prime of his career, and Aaron Jones was never really the lead back there. It was Jamal Williams getting touches. It was A.J. Dillon getting touches. They bring back Dillon and draft one of the better rookie running backs, which tells me, hey, we're going to see the same old LaFleur running game. And if we go back to Jacobs 2 years ago, monster volume, has his best year in fantasy. Last year, still a ton of volume. He's not going to see that volume in Green Bay. And Jacobs, we talk about him a lot. Otherwise, we would be talking about him on this show. This is a player right now where his ADP, I don't just do this. We don't just do this for the show. Like I study the ADP a lot, especially for the FFPC, which is where we get this from, for my own drafts, for our own drafts. And Jacobs' ADP is down 6.3 spots in the month of July. So I think people are coming around and seeing, hey, it was fun and reactive. This great player, really good running back, ends up with the Packers in a really nice situation. But is it really that nice of a situation in a LaFleur offense? And I don't think it is.
And
I'd rather have Pacheco. And I'm not even that big of a Pacheco guy. I'll take Pacheco with only CEH to take touches away.
And just before I kick it to Pete, I will just say I did look up the percentage of carries. Last year, I forget if it was Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, but they were 40 and 32%. Last year with the Raiders, Josh Jacobs had 56% of the team's rush attempts. I don't think he's getting that in Green Bay, so I wouldn't do that deal. Pete, were you with us or against us?
I don't know. I think it just really depends on who you expect to be there. If a lot of running backs are going to be kept,
well,
I don't know.
He's trading him for a first rounder.
Yeah. Oh, he's trading him for a first rounder. Okay, got it. Yeah, then I probably would say no. But again, it's hard to answer. It's hard to answer some of these questions when you just don't know. It really just depends on what your
first round pick for Josh Jacobs. I'm sorry.
I know. If we're expecting, I mean, it does seem expensive either way for Josh Jacobs and to get a first round pick. And I don't know. I probably would say no, because odds are, no matter who's kept, they're probably still better than Josh Jacobs in terms of what's left there in the first round. I'm not high on Jacobs either, like Anthony. What I would say is we have, and a lot of people have, and I just want to make this one point and then we can move on, is the Josh Jacobs and the whole volume and will he get that in Green Bay, and he has opportunity share in Oakland and all those types of things. The only pushback I will slightly give on it, and I've been a big proponent of not really being in on Jacobs, and we all have on the show, the only thing to keep in mind is this is a much better offense in terms of passing, and so teams won't really be able to stack the box. Now, Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers are not slouches over there in Oakland, and so but from a passing game standpoint, they didn't really have a good quarterback to push the ball down the field and stretch the defense. So that may help Jacobs in his favor. And I do like Marshawn Lloyd. I'm not really a big fan of A.J. Dillon, but they may not do what they did in the past. I mean, I think they will, but I'm still going to draft Jacobs in some leagues. I'm not completely out on him. I just wanted to make that point of, I will get a little exposure in best ball, probably not a redraft guy I'm drafting though, in terms of
And
Jacobs.
what's that? Anthony, did you
I
have a
would say,
follow
I
up?
would say Jacobs, if we look, he was always like last year, number one in opportunity share. You know, we're going to say 2022, number one in opportunity share, 2021, number 9 in opportunity share, 2020, number 10 in opportunity share. Aaron Jones, right? I know the past few years weren't great. I went back to 2020. LaFleur was there, and Aaron Jones was the running back 4 in fantasy points per game. He was 18th in opportunity share. So like that's the type of back, efficient pass catcher that they're, you know, like, so these Green Bay running backs, and for as good as Aaron Jones was, he never got volume. Even 2022, where he did play all 17 games. Let's be fair. Aaron Jones always had a little bit of an injury history. He played all 17. He maxed out at 213 carries. Josh Jacobs last year, 233, 340, like he dependent on volume. And I don't see it happening in Green Bay. I'll have maybe a few shares. I play in a lot of leagues, but he is not a guy I am targeting. I'd rather go get, whoever beats out, whether it's Dylan or the rookie. Give me one of those guys if I want to share this backfield. Yeah.
I think Jacobs, when you look at him, right, in 2022, when he had a career year, he had 1,600 yards. He was averaging 4.9 yards a carry. I think that's not the guy that we should expect, of course, but I think he's probably going to finish around that 12, 13 range. But that prices him ahead in terms of what his draft position is now. He's being priced ahead of that. So yeah, I'm probably out on him, but the only thing I will leave us here on the conversation is Josh Jacobs did face the most stacked boxes in the NFL last year. So let's keep that in mind. I know that the volume was there and I know he was inefficient, but it's hard to be efficient when teams are loading the box for you. And that team was a disaster there last year. So that's the only thing I'll say. I do think he will look well, unless you're Frank Gore. I think he'll look better. I like Marshawn Lloyd. I'm not high on Josh Jacobs, but I do think he'll be solid. I just don't know why his cost is so high. I would be in on him if he wasn't so expensive, but yeah, I don't feel like he's going to finish this at 8, 9, even 8 or 9, which is pretty much where he's being drafted.